Hi, I'm Penny. Welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing really well. I've got a bit of a different video today. How I did my makeup as a teenager. Now, I can't do it exactly as I did it as a teenager because a lot of the products I used as a teenager do not exist anymore. So I've got as much as I can. So I've got the Rimmel Lasting Finish Foundation. Now, I can't remember, but it had an orange cap on it, the one I had. And I can't remember what it was called, but it had an orange cap. And I've looked and they don't do it anymore. So I got this one. You will all recognise this. An oldie but a goodie, and yes, in Peach Glow. This is the one I had. It's not the actual one, obviously, because it's been 30 years since I was a teenager. So, but yeah, this was the powder I used. I've got the Rimmel Maxi Blush. It's not quite the shade I used, but I did use this blush. Now, I used to use bronzing pearls. And the ones that I used, I can't even remember. I think they were by Constance Carroll. Who remembers Constance Carroll? Yeah? They were by them. I can't find them. So I've got some number 7 bronzing pearls because that's what I used. Shimmery bronzing pearls. Now, for the rest of my makeup, I have got a little Rimmel eyeshadow palette because that's what I used. A little one like that. I've got 3 lipsticks. These 3 lipsticks were a staple. And they have been a staple in my makeup kit for probably 30 years. So I have got Rimmel's Coffee Shimmer, Amethyst Shimmer, and of course the classic Heather Shimmer. Heather Shimmer was the one I wore to school. So that's the one we're going to use today. We're going to do my school makeup. What I wore to school. Not what I wore when I went out. And then I've got a mascara. This is just a L'Oreal one. I'll be honest, I can't remember what mascara I used. It's been that long. As to brows, right, my grandma has a picture of me in my, well, you say year 11 photo. You will see that I had nice, thick, bushy eyebrows. I was not a slave to the plucking. I didn't pluck my eyebrows. I was probably one of the only people that didn't do it, but I didn't. I just didn't. That's why I've still got, even at like in my 40s, where a lot of my peers have got like really sparse eyebrows because of over plucking in the 80s and 90s. I don't, because I didn't do them then. I pay as much attention to my brows then as I do now, which is very little. Very little. So I've just got a L'Oreal mascara. Obviously, the one I used back in, you know, prehistoric times doesn't exist anymore. And that was it for my makeup kit. That was all that was in it. Primers? Nah. Moisturiser. We just use moisturiser. I've got a moisturiser here that I'm going to use. If I can get to it. I always used a moisturiser. The other thing I was pure cake face. I had severe acne as a teenager. So, yeah, I was full on cake face. So I'm just going to put a bit. This is the L'Oreal Hyaluronic X, but I just used a moisturiser before I did my makeup. The skincare side of things I have done from very young because of having bad skin. So I moisturised, I washed, I moisturised. I mean, don't get me wrong, I didn't use any of the products that I use now. But, yeah, I just used to put a moisturiser on just to help my makeup sit. And I always put it on with one of those, you know, those funny triangle sponges. I ain't got one of them. And I don't like them. So I'm going to go with a blending sponge. So I always started, I don't anymore, start with eyeshadow now, but back then I started with foundation. So we'll put that on. Right. Now, we'll dip that in there. And then just... Now, I went heavy-handed because, like I say, acne. And I had a lot of heavy breakouts. So I wore a lot of foundation. I wore a lot of makeup. I caked it on. I wore loads. That's not enough. We have some more. So that's 2 pumps. This is the 3 pumps. Like I say, loads. And I wore it. I wouldn't even leave the house without it. That's how bad my skin was. Now, I don't care. I'll go out. No makeup. Most of the time. If you follow me on my other channel, you will see when I'm vlogging, I quite often am completely makeup free. I didn't use concealer. The only concealers we had were those funny lipstick things. And I didn't like them. I just used to slap the foundation on. I never liked how they looked on my skin. And I never felt they did a particularly very good job. They were the ones, the funny lipstick ones. Yeah, they were horrible. And I never got into the Dream Matte Mousse either. Never bothered with that. Yeah, another pump. Another pump. We're nowhere near covered enough. Like I said, it was bad. There we go. So, yeah, I'll bring you in so you can see just what I mean. I use quite light coverage now, but this I did. I mean, it doesn't look too bad, you know. Foundation's come a long way. Right, I'm going to move you back. Now, I used to use the funny, you know, this funny sponge that come in the powders. I used to use that. I haven't got them anymore, so I'm just going to use a puff. And I used to load my puff up with powder, like that. Oh, yes, we did loads. We did loads. We packed that powder on. Because I had exceptionally oily skin when I was a teenager as well. I was unbelievably oily. I'll bring you in, show you how that looks. It's not as bad as you think, but yeah, I mean, we didn't even have setting sprays. You know, if I needed a setting spray, hairspray. We used hairspray. Then I used to go in with a bronzer. My bronzing pearls. Some things haven't changed. We still like, this is what they look like, look. Little pearls. In there. Dust it off and then, yeah, this was how we got colour back in one's face. I never said I was good at makeup as a teenager. Nope. So yeah, that was how I bronzed up. I know. I never said it was good. There. And then blush. Blush was the one thing I went minimal on. I only did a little bit, so I just used to dab in and just a little bit. See? Just a little bit. Let me have a look. Yep. And then just a bit on my nose, just to... Highlighter wasn't a thing, so we have none of that. Or if it was, I certainly never used it. And then we used to go in with this. Now, I didn't used to do all that much eyeshadow. I wasn't really into it, but I did do some. So we just used to get this. I used to get like the pale and that, mix those two together, And then just run that all across like that. And then I would get like a liner brush, and I would go into the darkest shade. I'm going to need my other mirror for this. And then I would just literally stamp this along my lash line on the top. No wing. Didn't do a wing. Just stamp it along the top of my eye. God, this is bringing back memories. And then I go back to this one, and I go into like the darkest shade or slightly dark, and I just tap a bit on there, just pick a bit of colour up, and then I would just sort of run it like that and just fan it out a bit there. There. And then I did used to use a lip liner, and this, I'm not sure if it was this exact shade, but it was very close. So this is the Rimmel liner in Cappuccino, and it was a very similar colour to this. Right, and then for school it was always Heather Shimmer. That's what it looks like. This one is not the one I used at school. I've gone through a lot of these. Yeah, and that is how I went to school. It's not a very long video, but I just need to, I'll go and brush my hair a bit. All right, I'm just going to go and sort my hair out and I'll be back. There we go. Now, I can't do my hair the same way I had it at school because I didn't have a fringe. And it's gone all funny. I didn't have a fringe and I had a perm. Frizzy perm. And, yeah, so I had a full-on 80s perm, and I had it all brushed over to one side, and it was like all curly one side, and then yeah, and if you'd have seen me from behind, it would have been straight. I was one of them. I had it all nice and curly at the front and then straight at the back, because nobody could see that, so you didn't do it. So yeah, this was my makeup look for school. Does it stand the test of time? No, I look very powdery. Nowadays, I'd have to add setting spray to sort of just get rid of the powder. And I probably wore more than this, to be fair. But yeah, I was full cake face. Because like I say, I have bad skin, so yeah. Shall I? Oh no, I'll add a bit, shall I? Shall I add a bit? Because I'll show you what I did to my eye makeup because I haven't put any mascara on. I didn't wear mascara to school, but I'll show you actually. I'll take this look from school to going out of an evening, shall I? So I take a flat brush. Now I used to use water because setting spray weren't a thing, but I'm not going to use water because I don't want to ruin it. And I take the same palette, right? And I take this colour in here with the setting spray, so it was wet, right? And then I would literally do that front. And then I would spray it again, or get it wet again. And then I would go into the black. And yes, I used black. Right. And I would take it here. Before that gets on my skin. This black isn't as good as the one I used. The one I used was quite opaque. This is not working. It was really opaque black. Oh, here we go. This is better. I'm a bit gutted. This black has not gone anywhere. It was black that I used to use, and it's not gone black, which is annoying. Yep. And then I used to get, I used to have the Rimmel Kohl liner, and I got it, but I can't find it. So this is a Clinique liner, and I just used to go really thick. Right, let's damp down a bit. Let's see if we can get it as opaque as I want it on my eyes, because it's really not opaque enough. Yeah. And that is how I would do my eyes with a bit of mascara. I didn't used to wear loads of mascara because I always found it transferred, because even now I've got good lashes, but like 30 years ago I had really good lashes and they were really long and they were black. So while I did occasionally wear mascara, I didn't wear it very often. I didn't really need to because I had good lashes and they were really black anyway. I used to dye my hair black after a while as well once I left school. So that is my makeup from my teen years. Did it look good? Probably not. Does it look good now? No. No, it doesn't. No, look, I'll bring you in. You can have a look. Look. Yeah. Like I said, I had sort of mousy, browny, Albany curly hair. It was permed. So while I was naturally like auburn, when the sun used to hit it, especially after it was permed, it went ginger, which I hated. So as soon as I left school, I dyed it black. So I had black curly hair for a long time. And that, it did suit me because I had quite tan skin as well. I don't tan now because I use SPF 50 all the time. But, I mean, I don't think I ever used SPF as a kid. We just didn't think about it. We just didn't think about it then. It wasn't something we thought about. So yeah, this is what I used to do. I used to go to school like the first look, come home and then whack more eyeshadow on, and then I used to really cake it on, like the blush and everything. Yeah, and I just used to, this is what I used to look like when I went out. Just, you know, 30 years younger than this. Yeah, that's it. That's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I'd love it if you give me a thumbs up. Subscribe down below for more videos to come. Comment anything you like, but please don't be mean. And if you don't know what to comment, send me a flower. That would mean the absolute world to me. But that's it from me, and hopefully I will see you in my next one. Bye for now.